On arrival, House of Representatives throws out 6-year single-term tenure for president and state governors.
Let me thank the President and Commander-in-Chief, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for his gracious approval to withdraw the charges against these children.
76 detained minors reunite with their parents. A very good evening and thanks for joining us tonight on NTA Network News. I am Jummai Yusuf. Michael Olale joins us from our Lagos studio. You can watch this news on all our social media platforms displayed on your screen. We begin with the International Monetary Fund, as IMF has commended President Tinubu's administration for various reforms embarked on to reposition Nigeria's economy for better. It was when IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva visited President Tinubu on the sidelines of the just concluded G20 Leaders Summit in Rio de Janeiro. State House correspondent Musbau Danwahab reports.
A timely meeting to get the true position of this global financial agency on current reforms undertaken by Nigerian governments. There have been various narratives about the agency's recent reports on regional economic outlook for sub-Saharan Africa, Nigeria inclusive. But certainly, no one currently carries the authorities of the IMF than its managing director, Kristalina Georgieva. She lauded Tinubu's administration for its reforms, especially the social investment programs targeted at the most vulnerable, and promised the cooperation of the body in the process. Kristalina said, contrary to perceptions, IMF is focused on developing vulnerable societies and devotes substantial resources to emerging economies. The IMF boss promised to offer technical support for the budgeting process, adding that it will assist Nigeria in getting the best results from loans at less cost.
Second area for technical support that they are offering is in the area of our fiscal, monetary and structural reforms. The third area is in the area where they can help us to create more fiscal space and then helping us to then attract more concessionary funding from different development partners, because when you have higher fiscal space, then you can actually do more. And the fourth area is in helping us with our borrowing policies so that we can borrow at a cheaper cost and that the benefits of the borrowing can be felt in the economy by everybody.
President Tinubu appreciated the Global Financial Agency for its support in the implementation of the reforms and called for more institutional backing for stability and sustainable growth. He promised that his administration will continue to prioritize the welfare of the poor and most vulnerable, even as the administration's reform begin to bear fruits. The Nigerian leader noted that substantial resources must be invested to stimulate the much-needed infrastructural development in the country. And the president updated the IMF boss that Nigeria's ongoing tax reforms will further stimulate the economy.
We've instituted the reforms on our own. We didn't even do the reform based on IMF advice. We started the reform and we felt this was the best way to go for our economy to survive, for us to benefit maximally from government policies and incentives. We had to remove those subsidies. Now we've done it on our own. And the IMF is saying, now you've done the reform, so if we're going to support you, we're not asking you to do any more reform because you've already done the reform. So we're now here to support you because you've done the reform on your own. How much more can we now give you to stabilize your economy and for the people, the citizens, to feel the impact of these transformational policies and reforms that we've instituted?
President Tinubu also urged the institution to change the perception that the reforms it backs tend to be tailored along Western ideas rather than the needs of the developing world. From Rio de Janeiro, Musbau Danwahab, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the 2024 summit of the G20 leaders has just ended. with Nigeria participating as one of the invited 19 guest countries. But the ultimate for President Bola Tinubu is how Nigeria joins the league of biggest economies in the world. Now let's join State House correspondent Musbah Wahab as he joins us from Rio de Janeiro. So Musbah, what are now the chances for Nigeria toward becoming a member of the group?
Its bid to be part of this very important group in the world. The 20 biggest economies in the world. Technically, it's now G21. Remember, last year, African Union was added, but that was as a group, and the only African country on this in this group is South Africa. And so President Bola Tinubu sees no reason why Nigeria should not be part of this group, going by its status in Africa and of course in the world. And this is the second consecutive appearance of a country, and the voice is becoming louder to member nations. So we spoke to Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf regarding this earlier. Let's take a listen.
They also want to hear more from African countries, and the country with the biggest voice in Africa is Nigeria, because of our credentials, because of our fight against racist regimes in the past, because of what we've done in supporting other global South countries. You've got the Technical Aid Corps, where we've been sending professionals since 1987 to African, Caribbean and Pacific countries, and all of that. So we have the credentials, and we're non-threatening to our neighbors. We're a peaceful country.
Again, the group under the Brazilian presidency has just launched the Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty, which Nigeria under President Bola Tinubu has just also committed to. We sought to know what this means for Nigeria from the Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs.
It means that we will continue to do more of what the Tinubu administration is already doing in terms of social programs, social investment, cash transfers, and also social services, so education, health, and also what we're going to do in terms of food production.
And the next summit of the group, G20, will be held in South Africa in 2025. And hopefully, Nigeria will be invited again as a guest country. And hopefully, too, member nations of the group would consider Nigeria as a fit country to be part of the group.
Okay, our correspondent there, Musbah Wahab, joining us live from Rio de Janeiro. Now back home, the National Economic Council has given a one-week ultimatum to Adamawa, Kebbi, Kwara and the Federal Capital Territory to submit state police status reports to the council, as 33 states have submitted. The council also received presentations on power, agriculture, among other issues at the council meeting this Thursday. Let's join State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jubrila.
The National Economic Council meeting, which is the 146th and number 8 in the year 2024, was presided over by Vice President Kashim Shettima. Newly sworn in Edo Governor Monday Okpebolo made his maiden appearance. The council discussed on state police and gave ultimatum to defaulting states.
It was reported that 33 states have submitted their positions, while 3 states are yet to do so, and resolved to present a consolidated state's position on the state police to the National Economic Council at our next meeting.
The council, after receiving report from the Rural Electrification Agency, approved Committee on National Electrification to empower states and regions to meet energy needs.
So that you can see that the composition, the number of governors that are on that committee to come together, deliberate on how the state can also take advantage of that act to further deepen, the state involvement. So it's more like a peer review where they can come up with certain positions on how best state can engage, in terms of electricity generation, to meet the needs of the people.
Phase 2 of the special agro-processing zones with 22 states also approved to boost food security, and the Naseni reports.
Impressed by the program, the phase 2 is about to start. 2 weeks ago, there was a stakeholders meeting that onboarded additional 21 states. So the council resolved and urged all the states to queue into this program, because this program is going to be a game changer and it will help and go a long way in tackling the food security pursuit of the federal government.
The council also announced the status of the Federation account as at 20th November this year.
The excess food account at $473,754.57. Stabilization account $33,324,135,076 naira 39. Natural resources account $26,847,747,854 naira 93.
From the State House, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Governors Forum says the various economic reforms embarked on by the Tinubu administration is setting new standards and priorities for achieving robust recovery and growth of key sectors. Now, this came to the fore during an extraordinary session that brought other top national issues on the table for solutions seeking and rapid development of the country. Political correspondent Abubakar Akwanga tells us more.
The Nigerian Governors Forum is once again putting frontline issues on the center stage, with key economic reforms spread across the current tax review under legislative scrutiny, constitution amendment, and education justice for the girl child on the front burner. Nigerian Governors Forum says it is joining force with the federal government in taking tough decisions against any breach of security in any part of the country, with the rising security threats in the Northwest region gaining immediate attention.
Governors pledged their support to the initiative and affirmed their commitment actively engage in shaping amendments that strengthen the Nigerian constitution.
We're going to be visiting their states and the geopolitical zones to advise the opinion of the public from them that we have received about 161 areas to amend in the constitution.
Meanwhile, the Progressive Governors Forum has declared total support for measures introduced by the federal government to bring succor to Nigerians and appreciates Nigerians for the recent election outcome in Edo and Ondo states.
Resolved to work more to impress Nigerians who in their wisdom voted us to power, and also to support the government of Nigeria in their efforts to alleviate the negative effects of the various reform programs.
The forum says the ongoing legislative assignment on Nigerian constitution and tax matters will continue to initiate positive conversations for consensus and national development. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government is seeking partnership with subnationals to build capacity and expertise towards the realization of potential benefits from bilateral agreements reached recently with countries and development partners. This was at the 17th Community of Practice meeting of Commissioners for Budget and Economic Planning. The meeting is looking at the state of the economy, capitalizing on opportunities arising from recent bilateral agreements between Nigeria and some countries. Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, believes there is a lot of low-risk financing available for states to unlock their economic potential, while also leveraging on resources of partners.
The Global Gateway Facility of the European Union is 150 billion euro for Africa. And she said, as far as they are concerned, Nigeria is half of Africa, meaning we can mobilize 70 to 80 billion euros. So these monies are out there, these opportunities are out there.
These opportunities will not translate into tangible benefits without intentional, deliberate, strategic efforts.
Now let's bring you up to speed with other news as Senate approves federal government's request to implement the $2.2 billion external borrowing to fund part of the 2024 budget deficit. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports on these and other proceedings of Thursday's plenary.
The approval follows adoption of recommendations of the Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debts as contained in its report. The $2.2 billion, totaling 1.7 trillion naira, would be used to partially fund the 9.7 trillion naira deficit in the 2024 fiscal year. Senate also confirmed the appointment of Bridget Olowaroron as Director General, National Pension Commission. Meanwhile, Senate has appealed for more military deployments to northern parts of Borno State and other troubled spots following a motion from the Senate Chief Whip, Mohammed Tahir Mungunu.
It is very important that this local government is secured and this local government is redeemed from the tight control of Boko Haram, as well as Abadam and Marte local government that though we have military presence, but they are equally challenged. We need further reinforcement while complete repelling of Boko Haram in one local government of Guzamala.
Just a couple of days ago, they launched a serious attack on Kareto, a very popular town in Borno North Territorial District, where they carted away serious military hardware.
If we have attack helicopters in and around that area now, this Boko Haram will not even go there.
Legislators stressed sustained efforts to curb insecurity.
Security agencies have done their best, but their best to me is not enough until we secure entirely the country.
One of the things that makes it much easier for them to recruit our youth is because of poverty.
No country is immune to terrorism. So it's something that has international dimension. We need to commend our men and women in uniform with the cooperation that the National Assembly is providing to Mr. President and other security agencies. We will be able to deal with this matter.
Plenary featured passage of the bill to establish Federal University of Agriculture and Entrepreneurship in Bama, Borno State, and bill to repeal and reenact the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. The report of the Conference Committee on the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Act Amendment Bill was adopted as both Senate and House approved life imprisonments for persons involved in the production, trafficking and manufacture of illegal drugs in Nigeria. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
The National Bureau of Statistics is availing policymakers with general household survey to drive socio-economic policies and reforms of the federal government. Musa Abubakar reports that the statistics agency says federal government gained 8.9 billion naira from general house survey.
Data is the cornerstone of progress, the compass guiding policy decisions, and the foundation of sustainable development. On this note, the National Bureau of Statistics has once again taken the lead in shaping Nigeria's development narrative with the launch of the General Household Survey Panel Wave 5, 2023 and 2024. The General Household Survey Panel, active for over a decade, offers vital insights to Nigerians' living conditions. Fifth wave covers agriculture, education, health, employment, and household welfare, providing a comprehensive tool to monitor progress toward national and global development goals.
It is a multi-topic data collection exercise that serves as an essential tool for capturing the dynamics of Nigerian households, providing invaluable insights into their economic activities, into their well-being,
food consumption and nutrition, occupational mobility, and dynamics of vulnerability to shocks, these factors are very, very critical for tailoring and customizing policies.
Stakeholders highlighted the survey's role in tackling Nigeria's socio-economic challenges. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
The news will return in a moment. You're watching NTA Network News. The House of Representatives has rejected a bill seeking single term of 6 years for the office of the President and state governors. National Assembly correspondent Mitere Ikpen reports that President Tinubu's request for new external borrowing plan was, however, approved by the House.
The House, at the Committee on Supply, approved the implementation of new external borrowing to the tune of $2.2 billion to cushion the 2024 budget deficit and other liabilities of the federal government. It was not an easy sale for the 6 years single-term presidency bill that proposed rotational presidency among the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria and the conduct of general elections on a single day. The bill, sponsored by 34 lawmakers, suffered defeat without a debate on the floor when put to a voice vote by Speaker Tajuddin Abbas.
That a bill for an act to alter the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended to be read for a second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
I rise to second this great motion. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The nays have it.
Bills to increase the number of judges in the FCT High Court, as well as amend the NOTAP Act, however, scaled second reading.
And strengthen the capacity of the National Office for Technology Acquisition and Promotion to monitor on a continual basis the transfer of foreign technology.
There were resolutions to investigate age falsification in the Federal Civil Service and the anti-corruption units of MDAs.
Number of unemployment caused by age falsification is highly of concern and required urgent investigation and prosecution.
The House also urged the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Development to investigate illegal harvesting and commercialization of human eggs to safeguard reproductive health in the country. From the National Assembly, Mitere Ikben, NTA News.
Participants at the 65th National Council on Health conference holding in Maiduguri have stressed the need for collaborative efforts that will change narrative in health sector, leading to accessible, equitable and quality healthcare service delivery across the country. Mohammed Goni reports that Governor Babagana Umara Zulum reaffirms commitment to improve maternal and child health in Borno State as he advocates for a federal medical center to better meet health needs of the people.
The National Council on Health serves as a platform for collaboration and decision-making among stakeholders in the health sector, bringing together key players from the federal and state government, as well as development partners, civil society organizations, and other relevant stakeholders to strategize on how to achieve universal health coverage by 2030. Borno State Governor Babagana Umara Zulum, who noted efforts of his administration in transforming the healthcare sector, expressed worry over the rising cases of maternal mortality, highlighting steps taken to address the menace through various policy measures that include free cesarean section, among others.
As from December 1, medical doctors from Borno State Government will enjoy the same salary structure with their counterparts from federal government.
Collaboration between the federal government, all the state governments, our local governments, our partners, private sector, civil society. The power of collective effort in advancing health of the population cannot be overemphasized.
At this point, therefore, appeal to the Medical and Dental Consultants Association, who are currently on a 7-day warning strike, to please call off the strike.
There were goodwill messages from the Shehu of Borno, development partners, security establishment, WHO country representative, DG West African Health Organization, House Committee on Health and Universal Health Coverage Forum, affirming support to the success of universal health coverage by 2030. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
Now, as the world marks World Television Day, we turn our focus on the power of television as a tool for education, unity and social change, celebrated every November 21st. This day highlights television's impact on global awareness and its pivotal role in shaping the future. In Nigeria, the importance of television in driving change, promoting peace and fostering dialogue has never been more evident. Justin Bemunyi reports.
This year's World Television Day theme is accessibility, emphasizing inclusive content that promotes education, social change, and strengthens global connections. Amid misinformation, television remains a trusted source of truth, reaching millions with content that inspires and informs.
The advent of the social media these days, you find a whole lot of misinformation happening right there because the social media is an open space. But coming to television, there's clear definition of ownership.
In Nigeria, television's reach is undeniable, offering a range of programming from news to educational content that shapes the nation's future. However, ensuring accessibility, especially in rural areas, remains a challenge. The UN's focus on accessibility calls for inclusive broadcasting to ensure everyone can benefit from television's power.
When you have the power of information, you're better informed to take decisions. You're empowered to get involved in the things that are happening around you. It also helps the government to take, make better policies because there's feedback.
Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
And today, the Nigerian Television Authority joins global community in celebrating 2024 World Television Day, a day dedicated to acknowledging the profound impact of television in connecting, educating, and inspiring people worldwide. Television remains a powerful medium for communication, fostering understanding and unity across diverse cultures and societies. For over 4 decades, NTA has proudly served as Nigeria's foremost broadcaster, committed to delivering quality programming that informs, entertains, and empowers our citizens. This year's theme, Shaping the Future Through Television, underscores the evolving role of television in driving societal progress, amplifying diverse voices, and promoting sustainable development goals. As a public broadcaster, NTA remains steadfast in leveraging technology, creativity, and innovation to meet the demands of an ever-changing media landscape. On this day, the Director General, Comrade Abdul Hamid Dembos, reaffirms NTA's dedication to providing accurate and unbiased news coverage to keep Nigerians informed about local and global events, offers educational and developmental content that uplifts and empowers communities, and celebrating Nigeria's rich cultural heritage while showcasing Nigeria's talent to the world. As we navigate the digital era, Dembos says NTA is investing in both human and material resources and partnerships to ensure every Nigerian, regardless of location, can access the power of television, and invites viewers and stakeholders to continue to support NTA's mission as we redefine television's role in nation building. He highlights the transformative power of television as a medium that unites, transcending barriers of language, geography, and ideology. A former member of the Delta State House of Assembly, Daniel Moyiko, emerged as the star prize winner of a Toyota Prado SUV in the Globalcom Festival of Joy promo held at the company's Warri office in Uvwe local government area. Joy Obiazikwa reports.
Event marked by excitement and in a carnival-like atmosphere also saw 66 and other winners take home prizes such as tricycles, sewing and grinding machines, and generators. Dignitaries at the ceremony included the Speaker of the Delta State House of Assembly, Emomo Temi Gowon, Ovia Local Government Chairman Anthony Ofone, top Globalcom executives, representatives of the Ovia Kingdom monarch, and Globalcom subscribers. Frederick Oibo, Globalcom's Warri Zonal Regional Manager, highlighted that the Festival of Joy promo demonstrates the company's commitment to empowering subscribers. He noted that similar initiatives such as Joy Unlimited, Extravaganza, and Everyday Bonanza have previously rewarded customers with houses, cars, and household appliances.
The Festival of Joy is therefore in furtherance of our determination to continue to make our subscribers joyous.
Omotemi Gowon praised Globalcom as the leading telecommunications provider, urging everyone to participate in its rewarding promotional activities. Representatives from the Nigerian Lottery Regulatory Commission and Ovia Kingdom Council of Chiefs also attended the ceremony. In Asaba, Joy Obiazipo, NTA News.
Now, 2 weeks after President Tinubu's directive for their unconditional release, the Kano State government has officially handed over 76 detained minors to their parents. This follows days of rehabilitation and counseling at the Muhammadu Buhari Specialist Hospital, Giginyo. Abdullahi Mustafa has the report.
17-year-old Mustafa Ibrahim is among minors released after Kano protest detention. The minors underwent a period of isolation for medical care and counseling as part of a broader reintegration initiative aimed at ensuring their successful return to school and involvement in productive income-generating activities. As they were reunited with their families, Governor Yusuf, through his chief of staff, urged the youth to avoid any future involvement in illicit activities.
Let me thank the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for his gracious approval to withdraw the charges against these children.
Representatives from the Kano State Hisbah Board, UNICEF, and the Emirate Council echoed the governor's admonition, reminding the young people that while peaceful protest is a right, acts of theft and vandalism during such demonstrations are unacceptable. For Mustafa, his peers and their parents, this marks a fresh beginning, a chance to build a brighter and more productive future. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa.
The Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa has expressed satisfaction with the arrest of Nigerian separatist agitator and self-acclaimed leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Simon Ekpa, and 4 others in Finland over terror-related activities. Director Defense Information Brigadier General Tukur Gusau in a statement says the arrest is a step towards possible extradition to Nigeria. The Finland District Court in Lahti had ordered the remand of Simon Ekpa on probable cause for public incitement to commit a crime with terrorist intent in Nigeria. Ekpa was accused of using social media platforms to spread separatist propaganda linked to IPOB, a group advocating for the secession of southeastern Nigeria. And troops of the Nigerian Armed Forces have arrested a Cameroonian alongside a notorious kidnapper in Taraba State. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the Director Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, announced this in Abuja while giving update on armed forces operations across the country.
Aerial surveillance reports show that interdiction by the Nigerian Air Force tracing and destroying terrorist and bandit camps in parts of Katsina and Zamfara states. Details of ongoing operations indicate that 138 kidnapped victims have been rescued, while 238 terrorists were arrested in different parts of the country. Troops responding to terrorist activities have arrested a Cameroonian alongside a notorious kidnapper in Taraba State.
The troops responded to terrorist activities and arrested a notorious kidnapper, including a Cameroonian. Preliminary investigation identified him as a member of the Ambazonian freedom fighter.
On the Lakurawa terror group in parts of Sokoto and Katsina states, The Director of Defense Media Operations stressed that the recently unified Operation Fansanyama is combating the threat.
They have come at a time where our operations in the northwestern part of this country has been rejigged. We now have an operational theater similar to what we have in the northeast now. They are a threat to our national security. We recognize them as such, and we are taking them out.
The defense headquarters enjoin Nigerians to support security agencies with useful information to enhance proactive operations across theater commands. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And Michael Olale is standing by in our Lagos Network Center for more on Network News. Hello, Michael.
You, Jummai, and thanks for joining us in Lagos. Determined to sustain its core mandate of facilitating trade at the busiest airport in Nigeria, the Murtala Muhammed Area Command of the Nigeria Customs Service says it is streamlining clearance procedures, enhancing cargo inspection while improving information sharing within the corridor. The controller of the command, Michael Awell, noted that this is impacting positively on anti-smuggling operation while boosting revenue.
These are products of the customs anti-smuggling operation between July and October 2024, valued at 3.3 billion naira. And the Murtala Muhammed Area Command attributed the seizure to thorough examination being instituted within the corridor. The controller, while handing over drugs and other illicit substances to the NDLEA, said the command is moving towards matching seizure with suspects as against previous trend of intercepting items without any arrests.
The perpetrator of the harms that we seized have been arrested and have been prosecuted, not even here, extradited from the overseas. We have the CIU, the Custom Intelligence, they are here, the Custom Police, they are working around the clock to make sure we don't want anything called abandoned seizure.
With this strong signal radiating around the corridor, the Murtala Muhammed Area Command said it was able to improve compliance level, which resulted in 94% increase in revenue compared to 2023.
The command impressive achievement is attributed to a combination of improved stakeholders engagement, enhanced trade facilitation measures, effective enforcement of extant laws, strategies, personnel deployment.
The command reiterated its commitment towards engaging stakeholders while leveraging technology for enhanced trade facilitation.
Increased mental health cases associated with male gender as a result of inability to perform family and societal obligations is now a major source of concern in the society. To stem the tide, the Elizabethan Age and Age Foundation is focusing on empowering boys and supporting men who are regarded as champions of change. Olumide Guntola reports.
From time, the female gender rights has always enjoyed maximum care and protection from the family and society at large, compared to their male counterparts who enjoy less care and are saddled with enormous responsibilities. Society in general sees a man who cannot pay his family bills as a failure. This development has oftentimes led to mental illness.
Out of like 10 or 15 people that come to the emergency of our Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital here, about 10 of them are men.
A lot of men just take the best way out, which they feel is suicide.
To change this narrative, Elizabethan Age and Age Foundation, led by Onyade Samuel Eluwole, created time to celebrate the male gender and drop support for the needs of men and boys.
Let's start attending to our men to make sure we get the best for them. When we get that done from family unit, then the society will be nice, the world will be at peace.
Without the men themselves being protected, the women are as vulnerable as we didn't want them to be.
The efforts of the foundation have started yielding results. The successful rehabilitation of Ayivi Sunday Alade.
I feel happy because at least we have been remembered.
Speakers across different spheres of life unanimously called for gender balance in terms of care and support to have a balanced, peaceful, and productive society under the watchwords: rescue the boys, empowering the boys, and supporting men. In Lagos, Olumide Eguntola, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. Network News will continue with
punishable under the law. Vandalizing electrical equipment will affect millions of Nigerians, including your loved ones. Remember that national assets belong to all of us, hence the need to protect them. Report all cases of suspicious movement around electrical facilities to security agencies. When you see something, say something. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation in collaboration with the National Counter-Terrorism Center, NCTC, Office of the National Security Advisor.
Thanks for joining us. The Nigerian Legion says federal government has put in place necessary mechanism to ensure that outstanding allowances owed veterans are offset as soon as possible. National Chairman of the Nigerian Legion, Major General Abdul Malik Jibrin, says payment of 20 to 28% minimum wage increase to serving and retired personnel of the military will also be paid. Already, a 5-man committee set off by the Ministry of Defense is working to ensure that all outstanding issues are addressed, in addition to enhancing communication flow between the Ministry of Defense and various associations under the aegis of the Nigerian Legion. He appeals to some veterans planning to embark on protests to be patient as their grievances are being addressed, adding that as serving and retired members of the armed forces, they are not expected to embark on picketing.
Secondly, there is no basis for it because government did not say they are not going to pay. They are looking at it, and the government procedure is sometimes cumbersome, and we have to exercise patience.
He assures veterans that federal government is not leaving any stone unturned to ensure timely payment of outstanding allowances. Now, sport update is next.
Hello and welcome to the African Military Games update. I am Francis Kabile. Let's begin from the velodrome of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, where the Nigerian Armed Forces kicked off their campaign at the second edition of the African Military Games in Abuja by achieving an impressive haul of 5 gold medals in both male and female doubles and triples in Pomse Taekwondo.
And I'm grateful that those extra trainings and mental strengths that were taken from us while practicing and preparing for this competition is actually paying off.
Hope it was very difficult to coming this side, but we're enjoying the katas, the pumses, and then it was great inside.
In boxing, it was an explosive fight at the velodrome as Nigeria's first bout for the second African Military Games was between Damilola Salaudeen and Algeria Mduarek Modi Yakne in a 51-kilogram fight where Team Algeria defeated Nigeria 4-1 after 3 rounds. Away to the gymnasium hall of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, where Nigeria faced a setback in wrestling as Tochukwu Okeke was defeated by his Algeria opponent, James Feteria. The second edition of the African Military Games is proving to be a unifying force for the continent, with many participants having positive experiences about Nigeria.
One match for me with athlete Nigeria is difficult, but Alhamdulillah, I am a winner. Welcome to Nigeria. I like Nigeria so much.
I put up a good fight, I know, but due to 1 or 2 reasons, he actually worked for it, he actually trained, and I believe, hopefully, in the next fight, I'm going to come out stronger and win.
In the handball event, the Nigerian Armed Forces male handball team triumphed over their Ghanaian rivals with a score of 28-18 at the indoor sport hall of the Package B session of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. The Ghanaian team put up a strong fight in the first half, but coach Emeka Inamani's squad showcased exceptional tactical skills in the second half to secure gold medals in both the male and female categories of the competition.
I feel excited. I feel so happy for having this gold because we need nothing but gold because we are the host. We need to take the gold home. So my commander in the office, the chief of defense staff, the chief of army staff, at least they'll be proud of me. And they'll be proud of the team too.
We prepared very, very well for this championship. Knowing fully well I have played them before in the national team, I know their system of play. And that was why I have to tell my boys to be tactical discipline. This is the way they play their game. They are swift, they are physical, but we are more tactical.
Lost focus when the deficit reduced to 1. And I think the cause of this was we couldn't utilize our chances. Then the frustration setting. So I think we'll go out and work on ourselves.
Today was far better. Just that the Nigeria side was good or is good. We just have to go back onto the table in Ghana and work on our team. And then maybe next time when we meet, we'll be able to play harder than this.
In football, it was a heartbreaking experience for Nigeria at the main ball of the Moshood Biola National Stadium as Cameroon scored in the second half of extra time to record a 1-0 win to qualify for the final, with Nigeria set to fight for the bronze. Well, action continues on Friday in different sports at the respective centers, with more medal prospects for Nigeria. That will be all on AMGA Updates today. I am Francis Kabile.
President Bola Tinubu sends condolences to the family of Ambassador Zakari Ibrahim, 81, who passed away on Sunday. Ambassador Ibrahim was a former Minister of State for Foreign Affairs and the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, NIA. President Tinubu also commiserates with the government and people of Katsina State and the Katsina State Emirate Council, where the retired intelligence officer held the esteemed title of Talba. At various times, the late Ambassador Ibrahim was the Deputy National Security Advisor, Director General of the NIA and Minister of State for Foreign Affairs. President Tinubu says the deceased service to the nation as an intelligence officer, diplomat and community leader would be remembered long after his death. The president prays for the repose of his soul and urges his family and proteges to immortalize the late intelligence chief by embodying the virtues he stood for. And former President Muhammadu Buhari mourns the demise of former Executive Secretary of the defunct Federal Electoral Commission, FEDECO, the precursor of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and District Head of Kurfi in Katsina State, Alhaji Ahmadu Kurfi. Muhammadu Buhari says the death of Kurfi deprives Nigeria of one of its wisest and capable citizens who gave everything they could to the nation in its quest for unity and development, and a man who he said had given purpose to elections. He prays Allah comforts his family and grants him Al-Jannah Firdaus. And that's it on NTA Network News tonight. Thanks so much for your time. I am Jummai, Yusuf.